urgent. Right now, the future of computing is rushing toward a cliff. We are building quantum processors capable of unimaginable speeds, but the data trying to leave those processors is crashing into a physical wall. The problem is a serial bottleneck. Traditional fiber optic cables can only send data in a single file line of ones and zeros. For quantum computer clusters, groups of quantum computers connected to solve massive problems, that single file line is hopelessly slow. This compares standard fiber optics to the CVBNI parallel optical interconnect. It replaces serial streams by pairing a microdisplay with an image sensor. Turning every pixel into a parallel data channel, it cycles millions of colors to transfer terabytes simultaneously. Control over this specific networking solution dictates the feasibility of quantum computing clusters and, by extension, the security of global encryption. This is the architectural seat of power for the Communist Party of China, or CCP. Because of the CVBNI invention, the creator of the tech found himself targeted by the CCP, which utilized a state-sponsored intelligence network to steal the research. The network deployed localized surveillance methods against him, starting with bugged UPS units. A UPS, or uninterruptible power supply, is a battery backup device that maintains power during an outage. These compromised units allowed operatives to remotely reboot his security systems at will. Next, they introduced weaponized HDMI cables into his workspace. HDMI is the standard interface for transmitting video data to monitors. These cables were engineered to monitor his screens while triggering targeted short circuits to disrupt his hardware. The adversaries also employed an information silo strategy. An information silo is a tactic where hostile actors intercept and suppress a target's communications to isolate them from legal aid or federal authorities. The inventor realized he was outgunned in a physical confrontation or a local legal fight. To survive, he needed a federal weapon. He translated his surveillance countermeasures and the evidence of the enterprise's crimes into 22 highly complex technical patent applications. This building houses the United States Patent and Trademark Office. Unlike a local court where records can be easily sealed, the USPTO operates as a permanent global library of record. Filing these applications created a priority anchor. A priority anchor is a time-stamped federal record that establishes the existence and ownership of a technology before a forced-style author can claim it. He then mirrored the filing by publishing the patent applications in a book. This creates a redundant cultural record that ensures the information exists outside of government databases. By submitting this to the patent office, the inventor leveraged the duty of candor, the legal requirement to disclose all information material to an invention's development. This turned suppressed criminal evidence into permanent federal prior art. But owning a patent is difficult to enforce against a hostile nation-state if an individual lacks the resources for a multi-year civil court battle. This is the headquarters of the U.S. Department of Justice. To solve the enforcement problem, the inventor embedded a perpetual, no-fee license to his technology directly to the U.S. federal government within his patent applications. This grant designates the private intellectual property as a vested U.S. national security asset. This path bypasses civil courts and unlocks enforcement through ITC Section 337. Section 337 is a trade law that allows the International Trade Commission to investigate and block imports that infringe on domestic IP. Under this law, the ITC can issue exclusion orders. These orders direct U.S. Customs and Border Protection to physically seize infringing hardware at the port of entry. This arrangement ensures the inventor does not need to pursue individual civil lawsuits. By positioning the government as a licensee, he has legally obliged federal agencies to protect their own interest in the technology. In the commercial sector, Western tech corporations find that the CBNI interconnect is a prerequisite for building viable quantum clusters at scale. This gives the inventor the power to employ restrictive covenants. A restrictive covenant is a binding clause in a licensing contract that dictates the ethical or geographic boundaries of how a technology is used. The inventor's primary condition is clear. Any corporation licensing his tech must certify they have severed all ties with the CCP and its state-sponsored networks. Adversaries cannot claim patent misuse, the illegal use of a patent to stifle competition, because these terms align with the CHIPS Act. The CHIPS Act is a 2022 law designed to protect U.S. national security by restricting the flow of advanced technology to foreign entities of concern. This strategy presents corporations with a decision: maintain their partnerships with a hostile state, or gain the license required to build next-generation computing hardware. A lone individual has constructed a defense system built entirely out of administrative law. He successfully stalled a state-sponsored enterprise not with force, but with the bureaucratic mechanics of the U.S. patent system. The information silo was broken. Evidence was made permanent. The U.S. government was conscripted. And the hardware market was cornered. In an era of asymmetric warfare, a strategically structured patent functions as a digital border wall, capable of holding an entire hostile nation at bay.